Kate Martin was just announced as the next athlete that is committed to Unrivaled in January. There's been a lot of reporting in the last week about Caitlin Clark, Unrivaled making her a potential quote unquote messy offer. What do you think? Do you think Caitlin's going to consider this? Should she consider this?
I don't think so. And the biggest factor, more than anything, I think, is rest. Like she has not had much downtime outside of the
Hmm.
last month here for the last year. And I think this is an opportunity for her to really have a solid, productive offseason, as much in the weight room as on the court. She now knows exactly what is needed of her and of her body. And I think oftentimes in any league, you see a huge amount of growth from year one to year two. So that's the first point. Second of all, she doesn't need the money. So that affords her the opportunity to be a
Hmm.
little bit more choosy. I think a lot of the intrigue with the league is not only it's in the US, but it's in the offseason, but also the higher pay and such. And so I think they need her more than obviously she needs them because of all her opportunities, right? Next month, she's going to play in an LPGA Pro-Am down in Florida. Like,
Hmm.
good for her. That's the other part of her competitiveness is she's able to
Right.
see that golf angle come out. The only aspect where I could make that argument for her is if you don't play for, let's call it 8 months, there is some rust that builds up a little bit.
Hmm.
But I mean, if I'm her, I could go back to Iowa and scrimmage probably, right? If I wanted, or you know, I could probably get in with another high level game. But overall, no, I don't think it makes too much sense for her. What about you?
Yeah, I do think it does seem like she's a little bit more focused on her golf game this off season, which hey, that's gonna be fun to watch. Or maybe she'll be
Some
the
people
Tiger Woods of
probably thought
golf.
she
Like,
some people probably thought she was joking at that post game press conference where she was like, "Yeah, we'll see how good I can get at golf." It's like, no, that's actually what she was doing a lot of
well, we've seen her
during
soccer
the
highlights.
Olympic
Like,
break.
she could be elite, basically any sport that she puts her mind to. Like, it's
Mhm.
pretty incredible to watch. But no, I think I think you make good points. She's coming off. She played 325 straight days of basketball, basically, with no break, minus the Olympics. Like she's been going and going and going. Beyond that, she talks to the media before and after every game. She signs every autograph, smiles at every kid. Seemingly, she seems to show up at every possible team Pacers fever related function, like whatever obligation she has to the team, franchise, to the game overall, like she's fulfilling it and then some with like the sheer act of just being Caitlin Clark and like the what has now become like the occupation of performing Caitlin Clark for the world
Mhm.
24/7. So if she doesn't want to do it, I have absolutely no problem with that. I'll see you in May. Like I'll miss you. I am selfishly, I just want to see her play basketball. But I do think at the same time, there's something really fascinating about Unrivaled and the opportunity to play in a league where you can get equity, especially, for somebody like Caitlin, who just brings so many eyeballs just individually.
Mhm.
Like just imagine a world where LeBron, Steph, Tom Brady, they're playing in their respective leagues and they're actually getting equity as opposed to salaries. It's like salaries for the biggest stars in any sport have always been artificially low. Now, obviously, more than the case with Caitlyn making $75,000 a year. And that's a point that Nafisa Collier made. I can't remember who she was talking to. I think it was on FanDuel TV where she says, like this is part of the change, like just the fact that the growth that Caitlin's brought to the game and the money she's making, even though people are like moving their venues to play, to watch her play, but she's not actually being able to cash in on all of
Yeah.
that. And I just think from like a larger professional sports perspective, like just imagine a world in which Caitlin Clark has equity in herself and in her game. Like think about these franchise
Mhm.
valuations going up right now, right? Like the Aces get bought for 2 million. I think they're worth like 140 million now. The Dallas Wings valuation goes from 75 million to 200 million within the course of a half season. All of that is happening in large part because of Caitlin, but she's not getting to cash in on that aspect of it. And I think that's a part of it like that I'm really, really interested in. But hey, doesn't have to do it this year. She can do it next year as well. If she ever
True.
wants to do that, if she can see if the league really actually like, takes off, can be a platform for that. But I'm so intrigued by that thing.
No, I agree. Anything you can get on the ground floor is always interesting. But to our point, I think she should absolutely prioritize the rest, prioritize getting better in the gym. And also, I try to realize too, like she's 22, like how much personal fun has she been able to have over the last
Yeah,
3 or 4 years?
that's a really good
She has
point.
been in a pressure cooker. So if I'm her, she was at Iowa for, I think, homecoming and to get the rings this last year. Great. She's got golf coming up, Taylor Swift concert coming up. Her boyfriend's now assistant coach at Butler. Great. Go. She'll be at those games as well. Like, part of it is like basketball is not everything. And I think she realizes that, especially after this season where she was even more so in that pressure cooker and faced so many different things like talking to media every single day. Whereas I think at Iowa, she was talking once or twice a week at most or after games. And that was different. So there's a whole host of demands. And I just want, as someone a little older, I want to remind her, hey, enjoy where you are right now because you'll never be that young again.
See, maybe this is my youth. Maybe this is me. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. You're making points. You're making points, Scott.